Growing up, gaming was a big part of my childhood. It was something I did for fun, it helped me to connect with family and friends, and it introduced me to characters, stories, and music that I grew to love. Back then, I spent a significant amount of time with different consoles. I put hours into catching Pokemon on the Game Boy, taking care of my Sims on PlayStation 2, causing chaos in GTA Liberty City Stories on the PSP. Maybe I shouldn't have been playing that game as young as I was, but I digress. Over the years, I think the expectation that I was supposed to have grown out of games got to me. Apart from The Sims, which still has a chokehold on me to this day, I didn't really play a lot of games for a large part of my high school and college years. As a matter of fact, it was only until recently that I got back into the beautiful world of gaming. I started to think, what if I could have a portable handheld console that could play modern AAA titles as well as older titles that marked the happiness of my childhood? After going down a YouTube rabbit hole of reviews, which I usually do, I decided to get the Valve Steam Deck. Now, I bought the Steam Deck just before Christmas of last year, and thankfully this was after the whole reservation system where you had to wait in line to buy the device. So it's been a couple months now that I've had it, and I think that I'm out of the honeymoon phase. I'm just as happy with it as I was on day one, if not more. I'm not going to be going into tech specs and numbers and benchmarks in this video because there are so many videos out there by YouTubers who specialize in that kind of content. What I'd like to focus on instead is my experience with the Steam Deck. What does it feel like to pick it up and play it in my day-to-day life, and how has it rekindled my love for gaming? So there are three versions of the Steam Deck. I ended up going with the 256GB model because I thought that that would be a nice middle ground. I've since complemented the internal storage on the device with a 512GB micro SD card. So you'll notice that I have done a bit of customization to my device. The stock Steam Deck comes in black. I have added a matte white dbrand skin on the front and back, as well as on the trackpads of the device. I've also added these brown thumbstick covers for a better grip. And the final thing I did was I added a screen protector to the device. Valve actually ships the Steam Deck with a case that is very sturdy and well made, which is something that I appreciate because not many companies actually do that. In terms of ergonomics, the device itself feels great in hand. The placement of the D-pad, face buttons, thumbsticks, trackpads, triggers, and paddles, combined with a very solid feeling of the grips on either side, makes for a very ergonomic handheld experience. The 7-inch LCD screen is a pleasure to look at, and the front-facing speakers actually get quite loud, although I do mostly use the device with headphones when I can.
What are you reading? Love today or die forever. Don't even say anything.
The fact that this is a handheld, portable device means that I can play it almost anywhere. I spend a lot of time sitting at a desk, writing scripts, planning and editing these videos, so when I'm finished doing that, I like to be able to move elsewhere to play my games. Maybe move to the living room where I can lounge and relax on the couch, or cozy up in bed. The deck allows me to do that. Now, because it is a little bulkier, the Steam Deck is not the most portable device in the world, especially when you compare it to other handhelds. For comparison's sake, this is what it looks like next to the Nintendo Switch Lite, and here it is next to the Anbernic RG351V. But with that said, if you wanted to take it on a road trip or over to a friend's house or just outside with you, you could do that. I took the deck with me on a transatlantic flight recently and I had no problems with it. It was a great way to pass the time. With the quick resume feature, I can simply put the device to sleep if I need to take a break or do something else, and then come right back to where I was when I stopped playing. That ease of use, the fact that you can just pick it up and play, is super convenient. Still, I like knowing that if there is a title that I think I'd enjoy on a larger screen, I have the option to do that. The Steam Deck itself doesn't have an HDMI out port. However, you can connect it to an external display with either a USB-C to HDMI cable or adapter, or with a dock. What I'll do is I'll connect my deck to this dock from JSOX, and I'll pair my Xbox controller to the deck, and that gives me a great experience whenever I feel like playing games on a larger screen, whether that's a TV or a monitor. You can use the Steam Deck in gaming mode, which allows you to download and play games from the Steam library, as well as Epic Games and Good Old Games from the Heroic library. I love those libraries because there's always some sort of sale going on, and you can get good deals on the AAA titles and indie games that they have available there. Additionally, you could use the Steam Deck to stream games with remote play features on consoles like the Xbox and PlayStation. There's also a desktop mode that allows you to use the device as a fully functioning computer. You could do things like check emails, watch videos, browse the web, and more. Now, because the Steam Deck is technically a handheld PC, you're afforded a lot of the opportunities for tinkering that you would get on a PC. You could opt to install Windows, play around with different performance settings to get the most out of your games, install software like DeckyLoader, which allows you to customize your SteamOS experience. As an example, you can see here in Air Memories of Old, I'm changing the saturation of the display to make the colors pop a little more in the game, thanks to a plugin called Vibrant Deck. It's little things like this that make the techie in me happy, knowing that I can make this experience what I want it to be. One of the features of the Steam Deck that really pulled me in is its emulation capability. I have emulated on other devices before, like my phone, but never with something this powerful. With tools like EmuDeck, you can customize your emulation environment the way you want to by choosing your emulators, managing your ROMs, and even accessing handy utilities like power tools, which will help you to optimize performance. Which brings me to another point, which is that there's a huge community out there of people who own the deck and are willing to help you troubleshoot, suggest optimal performance settings, and even recommend games that may not have been tested by Valve as yet, but that run perfectly on the deck. Being able to go back to older titles is just an amazing feeling. I remember we used to have a family computer with a plethora of games on it. One of them was Max Payne 2. I just stumbled upon it one day, I was hooked by the gameplay and the story, and it turned out to be one of the first games that I ever played to completion. Another one of those games was Need for Speed Underground 2. Now, I'm not that much of a fan of racing games, but I found myself back on the streets of Bayview driving with absolute bangers like Riders on the Storm and Celebration song in the background, all because of that nostalgia factor. I've also been playing through some PlayStation 2 titles like James Bond from Russia with Love, which I have to say has aged extremely well for a title that was released almost 18 years ago. I've even been revisiting some of the Game Boy games that I loved, from the Pokemon titles to The Sims Herbs to Chronicles of Narnia. While you could argue that it's nicer and more nostalgic to play these games on the original hardware, the point is that I'm able to take my entire childhood gaming experience with me wherever I go, and that's special. And I think that's what it comes down to in the end. The fact that I can have all of that in the palm of my hand. That, coupled with a renewed sense of awe and curiosity regarding games, just like the kind that I had in my childhood. Back then, I wasn't watching all these YouTube videos about the best consoles or looking up Reddit threads that compared devices. I would simply go into a game knowing nothing, expecting to have a good time, and some of my best gaming experiences were born out of that curiosity. The Steam Deck takes me back to the innocence of my childhood, where all I really had to worry about was how to fix my mom's TV in The Sims 1 so that she could watch her precious soap operas, or how to get past the monkeys in Pitfall so that I could get to the next level. It has given me a way to relax and enter a completely different world with just the press of a button. At the end of a long day, maybe I just want to hop into a game like Lake and deliver some meal to the citizens of Providence Oaks, or attend to the spirits on my boat in Spiritfarer before they take their final journey to the Everdoor. The deck has also made me excited to check out titles that are new to me. I was never really into the Zelda craze when I was younger, but I recently started a playthrough of Twilight Princess, and just a few hours into the game, I have to say I've fallen in love. The Steam Deck isn't a perfect device by any means. Sure, the fans can get loud sometimes. I've seen people complain about battery life, even though that hasn't really been an issue for me. I don't need it to be a perfect device. I just think that the 10-year-old me would be stoked to know that something like this exists today, and that makes me appreciate it even more. If you enjoyed today's video, remember to leave a like, subscribe, comment, and let me know if you have any kind of history with gaming. Would you ever consider getting a device like the Steam Deck for yourself? Why or why not? And are there any games that you would recommend to me? I'm always happy to hear from you in the comment section. Take good care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.